Good evening and welcome everybody to another NGS match Division E. Tonight we have the Icecrown Citadel Knights against the Core Bouncers. Originally I was not going to be able to cast this one, but I was requested to cast it and had a long day at work. You know how it goes, so I was like, well, why not? I might as well relax, watch some more HOTS, see what we can see here going on in some Division E action. Uh, both teams just finished up the map flip, and right now, let's switch over to the map so you can see what's going on. The core bouncers won the coin toss, so they elected to pick the map instead of the first pick. And so the core bouncers, with that, uh, nope, just got an invite to the lobby. Core bouncers decided to ban Braxis and Cursed Hollow. Icecrown Citadel Queens banned Infernal and Hanamura, and the core bouncers picked our first map going to Alteric Pass. So Alteric Pass is going to be the map of choice, a big map, 3 lanes, kind of a fight over all 3 lanes is needed. You want to get pressure in all 3 lanes if you can. It opens up the boss in the top and the bottom lane, and it gives you pushing power for when you're going for those objective fights. There is the potential for global play. I have cast the core bouncers. I haven't seen them play much global play yet. They do play Brightwing, I know, so maybe they'll bring in the Brightwing. Um, Icecrown Citadel Knights. I haven't seen them play at all. I'm excited to see them. This is the first time I get to cast them. So we'll see what each team decides to go with here. We're getting the lobby finished, set up. I expected the maps to be a little different, so I'm excited to see Alteric Pass. I know that the Ice Crown Citadel Queens, they like the Volskyla, they like the BOE. They seem to do well on those maps. On the side of the core bouncers, we've seen them several weeks in a row win on Hanamura Temple, so the Hanamura Temple was banned out right away. We'll see if there's going to be any other map choices going in favor of the core bouncers. I know they like Infernal Shrines, and but that was also banned out, and they like Dragonshire. Uh, they won a couple weeks ago on Dragonshire pretty convincingly. I can't remember off the top of my head who they were playing in that game. But it looks like both teams are ready. We're just waiting for the live to get started, and then I'll switch over to the draft. Yeah. So as far as hero picks, I did a little bit of background research into the teams. I've had the opportunity to cast core bouncers a couple times already, so I know that they like the Sylvanas, they like the Tassadar, they also like the Lucio pick. So I expect to see possibility of some of those picks coming out in this match. On the side of the Ice Crown Citadel, they seem to have things that work, and then when they get away from those things, it seems that's where they struggle a little bit. They really like that JOHANNA tank pick. They like the Lieutenant Morales as a healer. They also like to do some Lucio games as well. But as far as their damage, Vala and Raynor seem to be comfort picks for them. Also, they do like to favor that. Getting into the draft here, so I'll make sure I switch over for you guys to the draft screen. They like the play on BOE, so the Vol and the Rainer makes sense as their favorites on that side of the map. Something's going on with my screen here. I don't know what's going on. I think they set it up a little bit differently, but that's okay. We'll continue to just plug right through. I think they put up an alternate 6 up. This is a different screen than I'm used to, but I wasn't checking too closely. But we're getting into the draft pick. The first band will go over to the Icecrown Citadel. They get the first pick since the core bouncers elected to do that map selection, and they ban out the Tassadar right away. So watching the core bouncers, I know Nemesis really likes that Tassadar. He seems to do really well on it when he gets the pick the black hole and just put down a lot of burst damage with the Tassadar. He's been pretty successful, so that gets banned out. D.Va banned out on the side of the core bouncers. D.Va is one of those stronger champions, just overall strong champions right now. Icecrown, in their history, when they get the D.Va, they seem to do fairly well with her. So it seems to be a meta ban and more of a research ban as well. Icecrown Citadel does favor that diva. It'll be interesting to see if the Johanna gets banned as well, kind of put them off that main take that the Icecrown Citadel seems to like. Second ban here, I know that the core bouncers like Sylvanas. I don't know if that's going to be a ban or not. Nope, they're going to go with the Garrosh ban. Garrosh is favored by the core bouncers. They have played a couple Garrosh games. They play it differently. They don't necessarily go for the taunt Garrosh. They go for the decimate, like the extra sustainability Garrosh, the heal and the AoE slow. Like Garrosh can get in there and just kind of keep everybody around him slowed. He doesn't necessarily go for the initial just really quick taunt, lock everybody down kind of build. ETC banned on the side of the core bouncers. ETC can play both ways on this map. He can go the Mosh for heavy teamfight presence, or he can go the stage dive and provide that global pressure, which you want to set up on this map if you can get that global pressure, if that's the strategy you're going on. So ETC not going to see in game one, but that does leave the Johanna open for the Icecrown Citadel. It's going to be, yep, and they pick it up right away. So Icecrown Citadel goes straight for that Johanna pick. Johanna, very strong early game, mid game. Blessed Shield as the ultimate is a great engage potential. So Johanna allows your team to both engage around her. She's able to set up that big beefy front line and then engage when she wants or disengage from a fight that she doesn't want and be able to blind the enemy team if the enemy team goes heavy auto attacker. Li Ming picked up by Nemesis. He plays pretty good. Li Ming. Sylvanas, that's one of Captain John Jay's favorite champions to play, and it's a comfort pick for the core bouncers, and so they get that Sylvanas. So Li Ming, Sylvanas seems like that's two picks that the core bouncers really like to get. Li Ming is pretty strong on this map, dependent upon where the objective is. She can safely poke from her own fort within the walls of her own fort and keep people off of the objective from that long range. So, and then she also provides just the absolute insane burst damage and the reset ability. Greymane Orphea picked up on the side of Icecrown Citadel. So we're going to see the Greymane being that kind of camp clear. He's going to have a lot more camp clearing pressure. There is the one siege camp in the middle, the Merc camp in the middle for each team, that the faster you can get that camp, the more experience you can get from just that camp's on a very low cooldown. So Greymane's going to be able to get that camp pretty quickly and be able to get as many camps out just to try to get his team map pressure and a little bit in that experience boost. And then Orphea, can't talk enough about Orphea. Very strong mage if played in the right hands, and she hits all of her skill shots. She can do an insane amount of damage and have very high sustainability for herself. Doesn't necessarily need to rely on the healer unless she gets caught out. Decker Kane banned out by the core bouncers. Just don't want to deal with that stay a while and listen huge CC potential that Decker Kane can provide. And Leoric getting banned out on the side of Icecrown Citadel. Leoric is played by the core bouncers in some maps. I haven't seen it necessarily be a make or break champion. The Mei getting picked up by Credit Clown. The core bouncers do favor the Mei pick. Mei is strong on this map. The core bouncers seem to be getting a comp that they're pretty familiar with and seem to run quite often and enjoy running. The Mei, if they can get the Lucio here, that's just going to round out their comp. They go for the Anduin instead. So the Light Bomb Anduin onto the Mei and the Mei sliding in and to get the engage, it's going to be very strong for them. It's also going to allow Mei to either set up the ice wall if needed or get a good avalanche. There's the global picked up by the Icecrown Citadel, the Brightwing, allowing the ability to give a little bit of split push pressure and soak on the far side of the map away from the objective, and then being able to teleport in to the fight when the fight is going to break out. And Thrall also picked up to round out this composition. Like the Thrall, he's going to do well in that off lane, wherever that off lane is. We don't know who the off laner is for the core bouncers, so I would like to see something, another bullish champion or something with a high sustain like a Yrel. Thrall won't necessarily be able to beat through a Yrel, and I know the core bouncers do like Yrel. They like to throw it out every so often, so we may see the Yrel come out here. We could also see possibly a Zul. Zul doesn't necessarily do as well in that lane, but the Yrel is what comes out ultimately. And so the Yrel, she's not going to win the lane. She's not going to beat Thrall, but she probably won't lose to Thrall either. It's going to kind of slow that lane down a bit. Thrall's going to only get his value if he's able to get a little bit of assistance from his team to bully Yrel out, or rotating down to help the team in another area of the map. So I don't know much again about the Icecrown Citadel Knights. Their comp looks great on paper. I really like what they are throwing in here. Let me switch it over to the game. I like what they're throwing in here. I just know the core bouncers since I've casted them a couple times already, and I know this is a comp that they love. They really like this comp. They're very good at executing as a team. They're a little more in sync as a team than some of the other teams they've been playing in Division E. Core bouncers are at the top of Division E right now, and so it will be I expect the core bouncers to be able to execute this comp that they seem to like fairly cleanly and kind of I put the favorites if I had to pick a team that I think is gonna do well. I have to pick the core bouncers on this map as far as just compositions go because they got a comp that they liked. But Icecrown Citadel Knights could prove me wrong and just execute their comp better. But let's get these teams. We've got Shimboku on the JOHANNA, Lunchbox on the Greymane, Emberglow sitting on that Orphea, Hazard on the Brightwing, and we've got the Lich Queen on Thrall. On the side of the core bouncers, we've got Dan Solo on the Urel, Nemesis sitting on that Li Ming, Credit Clown on the Mei, Captain John Jay on the Sylvanas, and we've got Captain Garbo sitting on the Anduin. Starting off mid lane, we're going to see a lot of poke back and forth from the Li Ming and the Orphea. Both teams going. Thrall did rotate up top lane, so Thrall is going to get a little bit of soak started when that lane comes in. So he won't be here for the fight, so it wouldn't benefit the Icecrown Citadel Knights to jump in. They're just going to go ahead and try and get this wave pushing and then go ahead and rotate to the bottom. Credit Clown does go in. He tries to get a little bit of engage, puts the snow down, and Urel knocks away the Brightwing. So just a little bit of a harassment situation, but nothing really committed there on the side of the core bouncers. They're going to just continue to poke the Li Ming and rotate down into this bot lane where they will continue to provide that soak. Captain John Jay is going to go down into this lane. Anduin does go up top with the Urel. He decides to help the Urel out a little bit in this top lane for maybe just topping off Dan Solo for a little bit of health and then going to rotate down bottom with his team. But this puts a little bit more pressure on this for the Icecrown Citadel. They can rotate as 4 and get these waves pushing in their favor and keep the core bouncers kind of separated right now. And if they posture aggressively like this JOHANNA did, they've got the core bouncers just all spread out right now. They're in a great position, got them split 2 and 2, but they're not going to commit to that fight. They're just going to go down, soak up some of their bot lane. The core bouncers are going to go soak their mid lane. And both teams are just going to go back to kind of doing similar things to what they've been doing, is just rotating back and forth between mid and bot, trying to get as much as they can. Lunchbox does jump in for credit. Clown Li Ming throws some of that poke back onto the JOHANNA, but she just pops the Iron Skin and is able to get away, no problem. Captain John Jay is going to go start up this Merc camp off into the side of the core bouncers. He's going to get that early pressure. Like I said, getting this camp as soon as possible benefits the team so much because it'll respawn fairly quickly and give the team a lot of experience. But the Icecrown Citadel, they go down bot lane, they start pushing it out. They don't finish pushing it out. Nobody on the core bouncers was there. They could have denied them a lot of experience if they had just pushed out that lane, but they're going to go back to mid lane as a group, get some of that soak there. Greymane's going to go start up his camp as well, which is where he needs to be. Level 4s are coming online for teams, so I'm going to pop up the talents real quick for everybody. And Greymane will be able to finish off this camp relatively quickly. Greymane is one of those faster camp clears and match it, but just a little bit behind on the camp clearing on the side of Icecrown Citadel. Not necessarily game breaking at this point. They'll catch up in the experience when they get that camp finished and be able to soak up all this remaining experience in the mid lane. The Greymane did get the camp in time so that if they get this frozen right in front of their wall, they could make a play up top lane, which is where they're rotating, but the Urel smartly just backs off, is giving it over, and they will have still that mid-pressure while this first objective goes over. The core bouncers are just getting away with breaking down this wall, though. Nobody rotated down bottom. The core bouncers with the Sylvanas passive is just melting this entire front wall and getting a lot of experience as far as that, and ultimately opening up the fort. This Merc camp's going to do similar things, but if the core bouncers respond and start clearing it, it's not going to get as much value. So a little bit of the early value going over to the core bouncers as far as map pressure and that bottom lane pressure goes. The core bouncers are just going to safely farm out their lane. The Icecrown Citadel, they could start up this camp, but they're kind of just sitting, waiting to see what they want to do. Greymane's going to start clearing out with the Orphea. Core Bouncers are going to rotate in with the Mei. They're here as 5. Both teams are 5-5. Thrall is actually out soaking a little bit in the bot lane, trying to get that XP. Looks like the Core Bouncers are kind of just waiting for the level 7s to come online. Maybe they're not even going to pressure. This first objective isn't necessarily something you need to go for right away, but in comes the JOHANNA. She gets a stun onto the Mei. Mei getting fairly low here, and rooted. Durell getting low as well. Good little engage potential from the side of Icecrown Citadel. Clown's going back in fairly low. He does have the heal still up, and he pops the heal, but he's still fairly low. Greymane did jump in, took some of the bait. JOHANNA getting low, already popped the Unstoppable. Brightway won't get it in time, and Dan Solo jumps on top and gets the kill, secures it down. So 1 kill going over to the side of the Core Bouncers, and now they should be able to get this camp and get some pressure on this camp. They may not be able to hold the whole thing. Emberglow getting a little aggressive with the posturing. Brightwing coming in, going to heal her up, but the knock away from the Urel was just kind of get away from my objective. This is mine right now. Captain John Jay, fairly low on mana. He needs to go get some more mana, or he won't be as useful in this fight. Greymane getting caught though, out, jumps in. The stun does miss from the Anduin, and the Mei misses knockback, so Greymane is able to get away safely, and it was not able to, you know, that could have been an easy pick, but over here Mei is getting rooted, knocked around, getting away, just walking. Polymorph does go down. Orphea putting some damage, but Mei just walks out safely, not a worry. But the Icecrown Citadel Kings are now Knights are gonna start up this camp. Mei just gonna go back and try to channel it back in her way, but it's a 5v5 situation. Captain John Jay didn't go get the mana, so he's still fairly low with the mana. He won't be able to put out as much damage in some of these fights, but they just kind of back off each team and go back to farming their own lanes. The Core Bouncers go back, start farming mid lane. JOHANNA coming in about half health, just knocks a little bit of a knockback onto the Mei. Orphea getting caught out here, getting stunned. Brightwing coming in. Will she be able to save? She does. She gets in with just enough of bleeding health left that she can heal her back up. But down on the bottom, the Lich Queen getting caught out on the Thrall, getting picked, and that's a kill going over to the Core Bouncers. They are still fairly healthy, and JOHANNA getting very low at this half health. Captain John Jay getting down to about a quarter health. And so over on this mid lane, we've got JOHANNA getting fairly low. A little bit of chat going out. Sorry about that. Should be turning the chat off, but the Core Bouncers are going to start up this entire camp. JOHANNA coming down, going fairly low. She still hasn't either healed up or been around the Brightwing enough that she's still fairly low, and so she's not able to contest this, and the Core Bouncers are able to get away with the entire camp. They're going to jump down, and they're going to start farming up this bot lane. So Core Bouncers get the first objective. They will get the map pressure in all 3 lanes. They're going to probably keep this pressure-focused bot lane so that they can get as much of this fort as they can. With the Sylvanas passive, if she doesn't use it until they come in, she will be able to push with this Merc that's going to be coming in, the objective that's going to be coming in, and be able to put some serious pressure on this bot lane. Anduin keeping his entire team topped off. Leeming just putting out some poke. The Core Bouncers do have level 10 advantage now, so they do want to potentially jump in here if they can get a fight, but they're just content with getting that. The boss didn't really take any damage at all. He's still fairly healthy, and he's going to push. The Icecrown Citadel Knights are going to respond mid lane. They're going to try and get out this mid lane camp. Core Bouncers go there as well. They don't have the Sylvanas passive this time, but they will still be able to get at least this entire front wall down. JOHANNA getting stunned out there by the Mei. Taking a little bit of a poke, but still remaining fairly healthy. They should be able to defend this one well as long with the Orphea and the Greymane. But the Light Bomb goes down to the Mei. She jumps in, does not land on anybody, and now Mei has to get out. She's taking some tower damage, pops the Unstoppable, heals up, and just walks out, no problem. The fort does go down. JOHANNA did stay a little aggressive on the pathing, so JOHANNA is actually going to go down. She was just a little bit too far forward with that tower being low, and the Core Bouncers are going to take full advantage of this and continue to push. They're going to have to back out. The entire core is down, but look at this bottom wall. This bottom wall is almost entirely done since that Merc pretty much got ignored, and the Core Bouncers are just going to rotate up and smartly put the remaining pressure top lane. If they can get this top lane fort started to get a little bit low, they will have pressure in all 3 lanes, and that's what you want on this map. You want that pressure in all 3 lanes because ultimately this boss, the core, is a little different than other maps where you can't just push in one lane the entire way and end the game that way. The boss gets armor based off of the amount of fort keeps that are up. hold on real quick. We got to engage. The core bouncer's getting a little caught out. Credit Clown going down. Brightwing getting the kill, and then JOHANNA picking up the kill on the Mei. Little aggressive by the core bouncer, staying a little bit too long without the minions, and a good rotation by Icecrown Citadel Knights to get back into this game, get 2 kills, and now they can start putting some map pressure elsewhere. Sylvanas was able to go grab that camp down in the objective, so she will get a little bit of experience and a little bit of map pressure that the Icecrown Citadel Knights will have to respond to. But still, 2 kills is 2 kills. That's experience going over to the Icecrown Citadel Knights, a little bit of time for the map pressure. And we'll just continue to see what's going on. Greymane going to go start up his camp, get that pressure going back mid lane, get a little bit more of the XP. Icecrown Citadel Knights cut it down to about a half-level lead now, so they were able to cut the experience gap enough that they should be able to maintain level advantage or talent tier advantage with the core bouncers, as long as they play smartly around. 1 level, a half a level isn't necessarily the end of the world to be down. You can play around it as long as it's not right at an objective time frame. Sylvanas kind of going down. She's going to go back to get some mana. Li Ming just poking out this top lane with the Urel. They're trying to get as much of this fort as they can. The more they can get on this fort, the better. And now they're rotating up as fort. This is going to be another fort going over to the side of the core bouncers. Nobody from the Icecrown Citadel Knights except Thrall is here to respond to this. And so they just get a free fort and now have map pressure in all 3 lanes right in time for this objective. And it's that 12 to 13. So they do have talent tier advantage. They are looking to pick a fight right now. And Li Ming just going to back out. Li Ming may get caught out here. JOHANNA has the Blessed Shield, and she goes down. That's the burst potential of the Greymane right there. 4-man avalanche from the Mei, be able to disengage, but unfortunately it wasn't quite in time that Li Ming still went down. So that's a nice kill going again over to the Icecrown Citadel Knights. They're able to get that burst down from the Orphea Greymane right onto the Blessed Shield target that JOHANNA picks, and able to just eliminate that Li Ming. But the core bouncers look like they really want to counter this. They are a man down. They don't have one of their main damage sources, but they're just happy to sit there and take it back over. I'm surprised the Icecrown Citadel Knights, they did use a lot of their ultimates in that fight, so they didn't have that potential, but they decided to just back off, and they're going to be sitting around this. Somebody should go, okay, Greymane's going to go up and get some of this soak. Meanwhile, the core bouncers, again, going to go get this camp, get a little bit more experience, get some map pressure before they decide to go and fight over the objective again. The side of the Icecrown Citadel Knights, it's just coming up now, so they could go get their own as after they respond, but they're just going to play defensively over. They need to have somebody soaking. They have Thrall soaking one lane. Brightwing should be going mid right now if they're going to be playing this defensive and get some more soak for her team. The light bomb does go down on the Mei, but it explodes before she's able to dive in, so it doesn't land on anybody. JOHANNA gets a 2-man ult. Good 2-man crushing jaws by the Orphea, but it was onto the 2 tanks, so the follow-up damage just wasn't enough, and a lot of the Icecrown Citadel Knights get chunked down by the Li Ming orbs. So they're going to have to back off, and the core bouncers are going to have this pressure onto the objective. They also have mid pressure continuing to push, even with the siege minion, so they're going to have to go clean that up. Greymane is down there, but he's at a quarter health. The rest of the team is just kind of sitting over this objective, just safely farming it away. I'm going to leave the game here for a second. I need to go unlock a door, so I will be right back. I'm just going to leave and I'll... All right, I'm back, folks. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of a hiccup. Somebody forgot the keys for the front door, and so I had to go answer the front door. But I am back. Hope that wasn't too painful for you guys. The objective is finished, and now we are going to have the core bouncers with their map pressure again starting to push. With all 3 lanes being pushed and already having all 3 forts, the core bouncers can go for any fort that they really want. They're going to go start that pressure bot lane. It'll give them pressure for the boss. Maybe they're just looking to try and find a bad rotation on side of Icecrown Citadel Knights. Dan Solo's having a pretty aggressive path and cutting off this pathway, seeing if he can get a pick. They already had the wall down, so this is the smart play with the Sylvanas passive, where she just makes that keep not able to do any damage. She's going to start getting some siege down, and this keep is already at half health. If the 16s just came online for the core bouncers, so this isn't really a fight that the Icecrown Citadel Knights want. Mei just jumping in, does not have the light bomb on her, but puts the avalanche into the back of the team. Goes the avalanche, comes down. Sylvanas gets some damage. 2 members already going down. What a play by the Mei. JOHANNA going down. Greymane getting to a quarter health. maybe gonna go down. No, he gets safely away, but this could be game one going over to the core bouncers already. Normally they can't, with just one keep, it's not advised to get the boss, but they got 3 kills off of that avalanche play, and they looked like they could just end this. They have no way. The Greymane's not going to do anything. The Thrall just now getting back. Boss is already at a 4th health. They're going to try and get in. Thrall gets the slowdown. Greymane gets some damage. Credit Clown gets low, but it's not enough. And game one going to go over to the side of the core bouncers. Wow, I lead for 10 seconds, and the core bouncers just flipped this game on its end. Holy guacamole! That went from 0 to 60 pretty quickly there. It looked like the game was just a little bit of back and forth, a small mistakes made on the Icecrown Citadel, but ultimately the game turned into getting that second objective that May was able to get in. Usually they were running the light bomb on the May to engage, but it wasn't connecting. So the May just said, you know what, I'm going to go in. I'm going to avalanche them all back to you if I can do that. And then we'll light bomb them when they're stunned coming out of the snowball, and we'll just stack that CC and burn them down. And they got 3 with that play. So it was a pretty fantastic play on the side of the core bouncers. That's that synergy that they have, that communication that they have. Something wasn't working. They changed up the way they wanted to engage and found 3 kills. 36K on the side of Li Ming. It was a faster game, 13 minutes. So the we were not going to see those outstanding numbers, but 36,000 still pretty respectable on the side of the Li Ming. Sylvanas was doing a lot of damage as expected there. And being able to provide that utility of shutting down those forts and getting that map pressure, getting all those maps, all 3 forts right away really put the pressure on the side of Icecrown Citadel Knights to respond in all 3 lanes. And that Thrall, as you can see, had to go kind of like deal with the side lane while the core bouncers were pushing with the objective. And so they were able to take a very advantageous fight and execute it cleanly, so that the Greymane was running away going, I don't know where my team went. They were here, and then some May walked in, threw them into snowball, and now they're gone. So game one going over. I'm going to switch it back over to the map screen while we wait to see what comes over for game 2. Let me update this. The core bouncers won game 1. And so now we're going to wait to see who goes to pick. The choice will go to the Icecrown Citadel Knights if they want first pick or map pick. And they look like... Oh, nope, I didn't find that out yet. So we're still waiting. Yeah, I don't know what map we're going to, but I think there's going to have to definitely be some pick band adjustments on the side of the Icecrown Citadel Knights. There was so much that the core bouncers ran there. The May engages were pretty stellar, especially that last one. That may have given them a little bit of PTSD, that they're like, we're not going to want to deal with that May again. The Sylvanas is a comfort pick on the side of the core bouncers, so allowing them to have that, they showed what the Sylvanas can do with the pressure. But then you're leaving possibly the TASSADAR open, the GARROSH open, so it's gonna be they're gonna have to pick a map they're comfortable on and get some bans where they're like, okay, we don't want to play against this, and we're gonna get some comfort picks as well for our own side. So I'm just gonna be waiting on the side to see which team decides to get the first, or which team gets the map pick. Just got a message, so let me see. Okay, we're going to Towers of Doom. Sounds like, so I can at least update that, but I don't know which team picked it, so waiting to hear back from what team picked Towers of Doom, and then we'll see. Icecrown. So Icecrown elected to go for the map pick, giving first pick over to the core bouncers, and they wanted Towers of Doom, which I like. Towers of Doom. I always like Towers of Doom maps. They can go the entire game one-sided, and you can get down to 1 HP left on to your core, and then suddenly you can turn that around and snowball it into essentially a reverse sweep. There is no... This game is done on the side of the Towers of Doom map. It can go all the way to the end game. It's infamously known for the comeback potential, is what I should be saying. And so the side of the core bouncers, even if they get that lead that they got in game 1, it doesn't necessarily mean they can just snowball it and just straight push to a core win like they did in that game. They have to wait for the objectives to come out and then use the objective to do the core shots. And so the Icecrown Citadel, even if they lose a fight like they did at a crucial time, it's not necessarily game ending unless it's the last objective before they're dead. So they have a little bit more leeway. The maps, again, another 3-lane map is a little bit smaller than Alterac Pass, not as big a map. So because of that, the offlaners usually rotate dual soak lanes between top and mid, and the 4-man usually goes to the bot, and the fight is over that bot fort. Each team is trying to get the opposing team's fort, which will give them enough map pressure that the objective will continue to fire more shots for their team and less shots for the opposing team. In addition to, you get sapper pressure from the bottom sappers as well, and you get that experience lead. And it's a little easier to defend the opposing team's fort than your own fort in some situations. Some teams just struggle to defend their own fort, then suddenly they get the opposing team's fort and they have no problem defending that thing. It really depends on the comp you build. So we're just waiting. I'm in the lobby. Everybody's in the lobby. Oh, map is now getting underway. So we're going to get into this draft. Game 2 going to Towers of Doom. Core Bouncers versus Icecrown Citadel Knights. And now the Core Bouncers will have first pick. So we will see maybe some pick ban adjustments on the side of the Icecrown Citadel Knights, knowing that the Core Bouncers will get a pick that they probably like. The Core Bouncers, again, just banning the D.Va. It's a solid ban. You can't argue with a D.Va ban right now. D.Va is a very strong champion, and she does double soak well on this map and provides immense zoning potential with that mech ult in a map that's got a lot of small quarters and close quarter combat. Sylvanas getting the immediate ban. Good ban. The Sylvanas was doing damage. It is a comfort pick for the sides of Core Bouncers, and Sylvanas brings a lot of value to this map as well, being able to turn off that fort and just adding that siege pressure. So a good ban. ETC getting banned out by the side of the Core Bouncers. They don't want to deal with an ETC again. So same bans coming out on the side of the Core Bouncers. The second ban, are we going to see the Mei ban here, or are we going to see again that TASSADAR ban, maybe even Li Ming, man? The TASSADAR and Li Ming both do well in this map. So right now, with first pick potential going to the Core Bouncers, it's really what do the Icecrown Citadel Knights just not want to play against. And it looks like they're going to go over and they're going to pick that Garrosh again. So they're leaving the Mei open. They're leaving the Li Ming open. They're leaving the TASSADAR even open. And TASSADAR immediately getting locked by Nemesis. He's like, yep, my TASSADAR is back. I want the black hole. I want to do some damage. Let's go have some fun. Close quarter fighting. A little bit better for TASSADAR. I could put off walls and block your escape, so I'm just going to melt you in with... Well, he doesn't have a mouth to put a smile on his face, but he's going to do it with a smile on his face anyway. On the side of the Icecrown Citadel Knights, are they going to go with that JOHANNA again? It was a good pick. It seemed to have some good engage potential. Nope, they go straight for the Mei Anduin. They like the combo that they saw the Core Bouncers just run there with the Light Bomb Avalanche, and so maybe they're going to run it themselves. This is a stronger map for the Ice Wall as well, because everybody has to be kind of so close together over these objective fights, so they may go for the Ice Wall as well. But the Light Bomb onto Mei, it's a great engage. It's almost as strong as the Genji Light Bomb. And so we'll see if they're able to execute that as well as the Core Bouncers did. Lucio and Diablo getting picked up. Lucio's a comfort pick, able to provide that sound barrier, able to give his team movement speed to catch or to disengage. Has good healing around the E, able to provide that burst healing every 15-20 seconds. Diablo picked up a lot of walls for Diablo to knock people into, very close for the APOC. It'll be interesting if they can pick something to go along with the Diablo that will set up the APOC being a little more successful. Well, Leoric's getting banned. I was just about to say like a Leoric, but Leoric just got banned out, smartly so, the Entomb APOC. So there's something else. There could be other things that could go along with the APOC. I was thinking Deckard, but they had already picked up the Lucio. There could still be on their side, the Rel could do some CC. They could also go for possibly some lockdown from like a Blaze, getting that lockdown for the APOC, but we'll see what they go. Li Ming banned out from the Core Bouncers. Leoric was already banned out by the side of Icecrown Citadel Knights, so now we get to see what they go for. It would be interesting to see if they go with Raynor here. I know they do favor the Raynor. They like the Raynor. This is a good map for Raynor. He likes everybody being grouped up, so you can get a little more value off that the passive of Raynor, getting a little more AoE damage and being able to put out that sustain, and also being able to zone people with the Hyperion or go for the Rainer's Raiders. They end up picking the Raynor as well. And then the Orphea. I like the Orphea. I think she was landing great crushing jaws last game. She was doing the damage. You could see the burst come out with the Greymane onto the Li Ming in that one kill. So I think the Orphea played well. Unfortunately, she got zoned by such a massive front line on the side of the Urel Mei that she wasn't really able to get behind to get the crushing jaw down. So she had to land it on the front line. It's not enough for a front line to be able to burst them down and do enough damage. So it'll be interesting to see if she can continue the crushing jaws. If she continues to land those crushing jaws with the Mei engage, especially with the Mei stun from the avalanche. It'll be interesting. She should be able to get a little bit more damage onto the squishier targets. Lunara Sonya picked up on the side of the core bouncers. So Sonya, not necessarily the bruiser that I was expecting for the APOC, unless she decides to go for the leap that turns into the entire wall. And Lunara picked up as well. We know the core bouncers like to go for that little bit more mobile champion. Lunara gives good vision and is able to provide some of that DPS. And then Malthael picked up on the Icecrown Citadel Knights as their end. Malthael will provide some of that kill pressure, so that bruiser pressure. He will put some damage down onto the Diablo and Sonya. So a good response. I like how the Icecrown Citadel Knights have responded in their draft, altering their draft. And making it more counter the core bouncers a little bit more than what we saw out of the last draft. The last draft, it was very skill shot dependent on the side of Icecrown Citadel Knights, and they were landing some of them, but it just wasn't working as well. But now they got the Malthael to deal with the double bruiser. Now they've got the Mei to get into the backline to pull some of those squishies forward if she can. They got the Raynor to provide some more of that sustained DPS than that heavy engage that the Greymane was providing. So good response. I think this will be a lot closer of a match on the Towers of Doom and the Icecrown Citadel Knights may be able to pull out a game here and send it to a game 3. But on the side of Icecrown Knights, we've got the Lich Queen sitting on the Malthael, Shimboku sitting onto the Mei, Hazard? Sorry, he's moving around. I was going to say Hazmat. Hazard sitting on that Anduin, Lunchbox sitting on the Raynor, and Emberglow on the Orphea. Over on the side of the core bouncers, Credit Clown on the Diablo, Nemesis on the Tassadar, Captain John J on the Lunara, Captain Garbo sitting on that Lucio, and Dan Solo sitting on that Sonya.
3, 2, 1.
All right, so initially both teams will probably go mid, and then the rotations will go down bot lane, and that's pretty much where we'll spend the majority of the game, because that's where all the fighting is going to go on, is on that bot lane. Top lane, the Malthael may be able to get a kill on Sonya. Sonya may be able to get a kill on Malthael. It's a little more fight intensive than the last game, which was more just a farm fest from the offlaners. But both teams just pretty content. The Diablo does knock Shimboku into the wall. The Mei getting away, no problem at all. Gets flipped back into the team, pops the wall, the Icecrown, and then just gets pulled away. So we're going to see these rotations coming down from both teams. Lunara's going to go ahead and head to that bot lane, start getting some pushing pressure down. Diablo's rotating down right behind, sees the Mei getting pinged out here, gets walled, flipped over. She doesn't necessarily have the pass, the ice wall coming, or the ice shield coming back up, so she's gonna have to back out, and the core bouncers are gonna get a little bit more pressure. The poke that's gonna come out from Tassadar is gonna keep these members of the Icecrown Citadel a little bit low. Diablo jumping in, getting rooted out by the Anduin, and having to just walk away. Walled off the Mei gets walled off from her team, but she shouldn't have a problem getting away from this, and both teams just going to go back, start their own camps. At least the core bouncers are going to start their camps. The Icecrown Citadel, they're going to go start pushing out mid lane. They're not going to respond by getting their own camp, which will give the core bouncers a little bit of pressure, but Malthael already rotating down, just coming down to get the orb, and then he's going to rotate back up to that top lane. Meanwhile, core bouncers, they saw that all members were mid, so they're going to go over and put some pressure. Raynor getting flipped over the wall and does go down. Credit Clown getting that flip, reaching his hands through the invisible glass. I don't know what that is that Tassadar puts down, but somehow he's able to get his arm through there and flip Raynor back over to the wall and get that kill. And the core bouncers will get this this camp. So already 2 camps. Well, it's not necessarily their camp yet. The Mei's coming in, trying to harass a little bit. Orphea is there to provide some of the poke. Tassadar does put down the wall. Mei is caught, gets knocked into the wall for the stun. Lucio able to get the camp while the Mei gets flipped over, knocked back, and she's going to go down. She has no way of getting out here. So the Mei does go down, maybe staying a little too long It didn't look like the entire team was on the same page there because it didn't look like they were really trying to take the camp with just only 2 members there against 3 of the core bouncers, and she ends up going down. Lunara putting out some serious damage onto the Orphea. The Orphea getting fairly low, but the Diablo opts not to go ahead and try and stun her into the wall. Just happy with the pressure that they're able to provide, and they're already getting some serious pressure down onto this fort. They have a half-level lead from all the kills that they were able to get, and they're going to continue to try and snowball this and get some serious fort pressure. So this is half of the fort already going down before the first objective. The first objective is 3 objectives over the map. The top 2 should just be an even trade, and the fight should be over the middle one. But it looks like Lunara is going to head mid lane and potentially go and try and stop Malthael top. Core bouncers may try to just delay bottom as long as they can while the core bouncers... Oh, nope, Lunara is coming back, so they are going to skirmish over this bottom one after all. Top one just going over to a trade, 1 for each team. Pretty standard there. The core bouncers are going to start channeling, and they're going to get it. So they're going to get both sides pretty much uncontested. Diablo is able to zone off the Mei from being able to dive in and get some poke down. And so the core bouncers are able to get both of the first two of the 3 first objectives, and are able to just go back and start putting some of this pressure bot lane. So the Icecrown Citadel Knights, their rotations are just a little bit slower. Since I said it was a little bit more of a brawly top lane, they're fighting a little bit more, so there's going to be some soak missed on the Icecrown Citadel Knights. They're not going to get as all that mid lane soak. The core bouncers are able to just rotate up. They're happy to pick these fights, these little skirmishes, burn some of the members down as long as they're able to deny map pressure. They don't have the TASSADAR. He did go back for a heal, so they may not be able to get this kill, but they do burn the Anduin passive. That's an 80-second cooldown on Anduin that they were able to get without the TASSADAR being there. So now they may be looking to pick a fight now that they're at level 7 and see if they can get a nice pick without the Anduin being able to save a teammate. They start to go over their Merc camp again, getting some of these pumpkins, and they pick it up fairly quickly and are now just going to rotate bottom and provide some pressure. The Icecrown Citadel Knights, they're kind of just protecting their own camp, which is coming up in 3 seconds, trying to get control back over this bot lane. But the core bouncers have that timer. They know when it's coming back up. Diablo dives in, gets a knockback onto Raynor. Raynor isn't going to be able to pull that. Wall goes down. Raynor's stuck. He is not in a good place right now, but he may... Lucio's going to speed his team up, get the kill, secure it. Raynor was just not in a fun spot right there, getting knocked back into the team and the wall coming down, pretty much denying any escape that he could have had. I'm surprised he did last as long as he did, but a kill going down for the core bouncers at the time the objective spawning. They could potentially get both of these there. Lucio's getting the bottom one completely uncontested. The poke is going to go over this mid one. Meanwhile, that fort does indeed go down with that sapper camp picked up, and so now the core bouncers have 5 forts to the 3 of the side of the Icecrown Citadel Knights. They get the mid tower. That's going to be 5 shots going over onto the core of the Icecrown Citadel Knights. And now the game is starting to be protect this bot lane. The core bouncers just want to protect this as much as they can. Escort these pumpkins in, which will get core shots. 1, 2, all 3 get in, so it's going to go down 220 HP. And the core bouncers are just going to sit here and be content holding this bot lane. Defend it as long as they can. The Icecrown Citadel Knights, they're in a tough spot right now. They're a whole level behind. 10s are about to come online for the core bouncers, so they aren't really going to be able to pick a fight. They need to get as much soak as they can. I don't think they're going to be able to necessarily win any fight over this bot turret as long as the core bouncers don't show, but Lunara did show mid, so they know they have a 4v3. If they could potentially get a pick, well, 10s just came online, so there's no way that's out the window now. They don't want to fight with their talent tier down, so they're just going to have to farm all 3 lanes. This one's going to go down, get fairly low. Malthael might not get there in time to get all that. Black Hole coming out by the TASSADAR does not land on anybody. So just kind of poking them off, getting them away from his fort, trying to just provide some pressure while they are double soaking the other lanes. Only 3 members bot lane. Icecrown is getting low on Diablo, knocks the Orphea into the wall, nice stun, gets the Mei flipped back over. Mei is getting hit by the tower, so she's getting down to half health, pops the Unstoppable, and is going to just walk away. TASSADAR getting some poke to finish that out, but meanwhile, while they're keeping that, Lunara is getting some pretty good pressure on that mid lane and is just continuing to snowball that experience lead. The 10s just came online for the Icecrown Citadel Knights, so if there was a time for them to get back in the fight, May get knocked back into the side. The light bomb going down the May, but she walks away. It was disengaging already, getting low, so maybe a little bit of a miscommunication there. Maybe it was just May is getting fairly low. I want to try to keep May alive, and so I'm going to put the light bomb off to zone everybody else away, but this is going to go over to Sonya uncontested again. That's 5 more shots going for the core bouncers onto the keep of the Icecrown Citadel Knights, and they're just going to continue to push this in their favor. Now they could look to potentially fight over mid lane. Icecrown Citadel Knights, they have the 10. They really need to get some pressure down in that bot lane. Maybe bring Malthael down on a good rotation. They are on even talent here, so they don't necessarily need the split push right now. They just need to get that bottom tower back as quick as they can. The core bouncers, they're able to continue to get sapper camps and get this camp pressure, which is going to continue to get them the experience they need and the map pressure they need to maintain control over this. Malthael staying top lane with the Sonya. So again, it's a 4v4. This isn't necessarily what the Icecrown Citadel Knights need unless they can get just a bad engage by Credit Clown and be able to stun him and be able to provide that burst. But here come this army of sappers, 6 sappers coming in. I don't know if all of them will get in. Raynor being able to provide a little bit of disengage potential with that Hyperion, or if you're landing the Crushing Jaws only gets 1 member and it is onto Diablo. And so they aren't able to provide the kills, but Malthael is here now. Malthael is coming down, provides some of that damage, gets onto Captain Garbo, gets him fairly low, but there's no follow-up. Okay, Credit Clown getting caught out by the Orpheum. May knocks him back. Rainer's putting down the damage. Diablo may go down here. Malthael last rites. It does finish off the Diablo, but the May does go down in return. So it's just a 1-for-1 trade right now, and it looks like Captain John Jay is jumping in. Maybe a little aggressive on the jump, getting fairly low himself. I don't know if he's going to go down. He's at 160. He's not going to go down. The Orphea getting fairly low herself, but this is the pressure that they needed. They should be able to get this tower back now. All members of Core Bouncers are low. They will get this next objective, but the members of the Icecrown Citadel Knights just back off. Diablo did come back. He doesn't have his soul stacks. They could have just healed up with the Enduit and tried to get some more pressure bot lane, but they're unable to do so. They're going to go get some more soak, try to get their 13s, and the Core Bouncers are going to get another shot onto the core. So now it's getting close to do or die time. Like I said, the game's never over on Towers of Doom. If the Icecrown Citadel Knights, if they can get this tower back in their favor, if they can get a good fight, they go get map pressure, and then they can start doing exactly what the core bouncers are doing to them, maintaining control of the map, getting all of the objectives. And so we just need their first priority needs to be get 13. Once they get 13, they have to go bot lane. They have to get that tower back. The longer the core bouncers hold that, the more they're denying. And we see 3 objectives coming up next. So there's no way they can give this fort over to the core bouncers, because all the core bouncers will need is 2 of those 3 final forts, and the game is over. So the Icecrown Citadel Knights, they have to find some way around this to get this kill. Sorry, while I was talking about all this, Malthael did go down to the Sonya in the top lane. So now that Malthael's out, Rainer's going up to try and get some of the soak, but again, they've already got the soak. They're on even talent tier. Getting here is just putting your team at a little bit of a disadvantage. I know you want to stop the pressure from Sonya, and now that she has the camp, you have to stop the camp, so otherwise they're just going to trade off that top tower. But they need to quickly regroup and get to this bottom tower pronto. If they just let the core bouncers continue to get these camps, core bouncers will have 16 in time for the objective fight, and then it's going to be a 16 on 13. You have to pick the fight, and it's just not going to look good at all on the side of the Icecrown Citadel Knights. Camp does get picked up. That's going to be 6 more sappers pushing in. If they're not cleared at all, and TASSADAR going over to make sure that this wave is pushing, they're not cleared at all. That's 6 more shots going onto the core. They will only need 1 of these final objectives to end the game. So the Knights are coming over. They're going to try and stop the Sapper Camp, maybe get some damage on the Garbo, but they're not able to provide any pressure. The Lunar is just sitting by the mid-tower, our objective, ready to take it. Sonya's going to go up, and this is probably, unless some miracle happens and they have a global ultimate that I don't see, Sonya got a little greedy with that pick over the top one, so Raynor is able to deny it. The Orphea does land a 2-man ult, so they're getting some serious damage down. This could be a pretty good throw on the side of the core bouncers. Now they need to get as 5 up and deny this Lunara. I'm surprised that Sonya didn't go for her own tower. She went for Rainer's instead. Lunara should get this. This should still be GG going over to the side of the core bouncers. But yeah, it could have been a much more risky scenario on the side of the core bouncers. They went for a riskier finish to the game and made it a little closer than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be go get your own tower and end the game there, but they did not do that. Result was the same. They ended up ending the game fairly quickly. Probably not going to do an interview tonight. I've got other things I need to get to, and I've already interviewed the core bouncers twice. So I will probably just hold off on interviewing them. They are for sure going to be in our playoffs. Icecrown Citadel Knights. It's the top 8 teams. There's 11 teams in Division E, so they still have a chance. They've only played 6 of their 10 matches. This was their seventh, so they still have 3 more matches. If they get 3 wins, they will be into the playoffs, and so we will potentially see them again in that playoffs. But for right now, a lot to look at, a lot to learn. The TASSADAR, again, he was putting out the damage. TASSADAR was getting some critical walls in that final fight to be able to. I mean, the wall off of the Rainer on bot lane to secure the kill there, allowing Diablo to knock into some of those walls that TASSADAR was able to put down to get some of those stuns is a fantastic combo that Diablo TASSADAR can pull together, and so uh, game two, again, it handedly went over to the side of the core bouncers. That's not to say that the Ice Crown Center Knights, I think it was just there's a little bit of miscommunication. We could see it with some of the engages, disengages that they're having, especially early on over that bottom fight where they were over the Merc camp where Orphea and May went for the Merc camp, and then the other two, Rainer and the Anduin, went to go like deal with the keep. They just weren't. It didn't seem like they were as in sync at the start of that game, and they got a little bit more in sync as the game went on. They started rotating as 5, but they didn't get enough pressure over that bottom tower. They really need, once they got an even talent tiers, they needed to get more pressure onto that bottom tower, and that shows why this map is heavily around that bottom lane, because if they can get that bottom tower, it provides just so much more map pressure, and you're getting all those extra shots going off in addition to having positioning for those sapper camps. So core bouncers doing executing well again, as we can expect from them, having a very solid series on their side. They got picks that they are comfortable on. It's getting tough to ban this team out. Teams in the playoffs are going to have to kind of find new strategies in order to handle them. But let me see if I don't think I missed anything in chat. Zoo Squares, the Towers of Doom, always a fun match to watch. I agree 100%. Um, is the May slush ball worth it on this map? I think it is. I think the argument can be made that Ice Wall has more value on this map than it does on other maps. So the value for picking that over the slush ball is better. But the slush ball with the comp that they chose, with the Anduin going with the light bomb, and the Orphea crushing jaws, I think that combination right there, if the May could land a 2 or 3 man slush ball, Anduin is able to lock it down with the light bomb, and then Orphea is able to drop her entire combo. They could get, if it's the slush ball's on the right target, they could get some serious damage. The ice wall more for just that zoning and picking potential, being able to just like say, I don't want to deal with your front line, I'm going to ice wall them, and we're going to dive on your back line. So the argument can be made either way. With their comp, I think the slush ball was the better choice, and they did go with it. I would have It'd have been interesting to see if May had slush balled with that bottom fight. One of the things she could have done, the play they should have been looking for, is when the core bouncers got a little too far ahead, getting in behind the team, slush balling them into your own towers, which would essentially just destroy any member of the core bouncers. But um yeah, and then Susquare said he liked the draft better as well on the sides of the Icecrown Citadel Knights, which I agreed as well. I thought they had a better comp going in than they had in the past, but than they did in game one. It just the core bouncers just executed very well. They played the map very well. So that's all I have for tonight. That's pretty much everything in chat. I'm gonna wrap this stream up now. Get back to doing a little bit more work before we call it a night here over on the West Coast. But hope everybody enjoyed it. I really enjoyed casting these matches. It was fun. Sorry again, apologies again for that little bit of a break I had to take into the middle of the game. Hope I didn't lose too much of the game in there. I seemed to get back just in the nick of time for the end hurrah. So yeah, I will turn off the stream, and everybody have a fantastic evening and enjoy the Nexus. Take care, all.